Good morning. I'm Gary Wiles. I thought a look at the presidential contenders' campaign funding and spending habits might yield some insight as to how they will conduct their fundraising and spending during the 2020 presidential race. I used the top 15 Democratic candidates according to last week's Washington Post newspaper. I chose the Washington Post for the cream of the crop deliberately. I wanted to be as fair as possible to the contenders. I would have listed all 15 in the Republican contenders too, but I couldn't get data for everyone, and not all 15 Democratic contenders are actually running. Some are on the fence but just listed in the Washington Post. I could only get fundraising and spending data on 7 of the 15. This shows amounts and percentages also, but just as importantly, or more so, it shows donation and spending habits that might be continued during the race for the top. This information is sourced from www.opensecrets.org, otherwise known as the Center for Responsive Politics. They encourage the citing and redistribution of the information. It is a powerful website. By the way, the opensecrets.org header page shows the first quarter of the election cycle fundraising numbers for 2020 has just come in, but I did not use it here as I think it is early. I think we should establish where these candidates have been before we see where they are. I'll get to it in a future report though. Also, I should tell you that this website is cited by several major news organizations, including Fox News, also CNN, Reuters, and the Washington Post, among others. It's a reputable website. It doesn't lean one way or the other. It's real middle of the road. Moving on to the Excel table sheet I created, where I've entered data, the top 2 rows on the sheet show the candidates' names, party affiliation, what state they're from, and below that the time period from when this history is gathered. The left column on the table shows the available fact categories of the candidates, what amounts they raised in dollars, and where these amounts came from in percentages. These columns and rows intersect to show amounts or percentages of the fundraising and spending habits. So why are some candidates included and not others? Well, I think I've explained that earlier. They just simply weren't all available. And they weren't, President Trump's records were presidential campaign records too, and all of these are congressional campaign fundraising. Beto O'Rourke is also not included in the analysis, but his data is here. He was excluded because the time period for the fundraising for all of the people on this list that I charted out was 2013 to 2018, a 5-year period, but Beto only had a 1-year period. All of the other candidates raised anywhere from $11 to $30 million, but Beto purportedly in 1 year, 1/5 as long, purportedly raised almost $80 million. I just saw that as some kind of a mistake or error or outlying data, so I didn't include it. It's the apples and apples things again. Apples compared to apples things again. The Bernie Sanders amounts, they do look low, and I'm not sure if it's because his presidential campaign fundraising for 2016 interfered with his congressional campaign fundraising for 2013 through 2015 and 2016 through 2018. It might be, but they do look low, and all I can say is the amounts may not look exactly right, but it shows it shows campaign fundraising and spending habits, as well as percentages of where these campaign donations come from. So it's a pretty good table. So Bernie's amounts might appear to be low, but all of the amounts still show donation sources and spending. As the campaign monies chart shows, none of the candidates took in hardly anything from PACs, super PACs, etc. It may be why they're calling an end for PAC involvement now, political action committees. They may want to help level the playing field in their favor. And I also think that since they didn't win Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission Supreme Court decision in 2010, that didn't go their way, and I think they have some buyer's remorse. I know it's 9 years later, but still. None of them reported contributing any money of their own to their own campaigns either. A couple of them ended up with a few dollars debt. I intend to link this data, their end-user reporting of donations and spendings, with the OpenSecrets.org sources of these monies from the Foreign Lobby Watch. We will find out why they take these monies, from whom, and for what reasons, right down to the uses of the foreign lobby, and recentering focus on foreign interests that spend and make money to influence opinion and policy in the United States. I intend to connect the dots. Study the chart and Wednesday's website, demo, and I will try to hook it up all next week. See you Monday. Thank you, and have a good weekend.